2, 1.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Maria 365, the event we've been waiting for quite a bit already. My name is Jessica Blekkinberg. I work as Chief Network Officer here at Maria 01, and I'll be your host for today. I want to wish you all a warm welcome. It's really good to see so many people here at our campus today, and I also want to welcome all of our online attendees to the Maria 365 show. Our team is really excited to be able to finally pull off this event. It's been a while. And what makes us really excited about this year's Maria 365 is that we're going to put the startups and our founders at the core of everything that we are doing. We're going to be showcasing some of the most prominent startups here today and enjoy a really good show. If you're following also on social media, you'll be tweeting anything. Please use, of course, the hashtag 365, so people who are not here or perhaps not even enjoying the online stream at the moment can perhaps have a peek into what's going on here today. Before we get the show going, I'm going to introduce our dear CEO, Ville Simola, to take the stage next to share some nice welcoming words to all of you. Welcome, Ville.
It has been so lonely for the past 1.5 years without you. A very warm welcome to all of you for today's Maria 365 event and the 365 showcasing. I'm very proud to say that we have around 800 people sign up for tonight. All of you here on site at the Lars Sonck venue, all of you watching online the show, and the community party that's taking place after the showcasing event. It's been a historical week. And some of you might be asking, what is he talking about? But I'm pretty sure most of you do know that earlier this week, Wolt was acquired by DoorDash with a record-breaking deal of 7 billion euros. I think that deserves a... That makes it the largest deal ever taking place in the Finnish economic history, surpassing even the Nokia being sold to Microsoft. But at the same time, that is actually the largest venture-backed exit that is ever taking place from Europe. So that is pretty huge. So huge congrats to obviously the Wolt team, the Wolt founders, but actually also Maria 01 community. And I'm happy to highlight that at least 2 of our community investor members were also very much part of this journey. So InVenture VC, as being one of the earliest investors, Ekaterina and the team. So huge congrats to Team InVenture. We also have Petteri Koponen here from Lifeline, being part of that journey as well. So let's give a big hand. And if we think about the future, it's not just about the money. obviously there will be a lot more money in this ecosystem in the future. I guess there's no doubt about it. But more importantly, now if we think about the people in the Volt team that have been part of this journey, at least I'm expecting to see a lot more companies being founded by these people who have now the experience of what it takes to scale a world-class unicorn company. So let's stay tuned. Switching it to tonight and Maria 365. So the roots of the concept goes back to 2016. That is the founding year of Maria 01. And ever since that, we've been hosting an annual gathering, kind of like Maria 01 birthday. Just before COVID, we decided to brand it as in Maria 365. And 365 stands for 365 days. So we're not just an event or a conference, nor an accelerator program, but moreover, we're a startup campus and a community that's combining all of these. Before I end, I want to thank all of you. So, investors, thank you for all of your support. Thank you for investing in your existing portfolio companies, into new companies. Thank you for all the ecosystem players here tonight, for all of your support, help, all the efforts together with the startup companies, especially during the rough times. And thank you all the partners, the corporates, for providing also your support, your distribution channels, and also your funding to the whole Maria 01 community. And all of you rest, whether you're working in the media or some other role, thank you also. We're all in this together. But I guess now it's time to give the stage to the real rock stars of tonight. So those 10 most promising startup companies from Maria 01 community. And before that, I would like to welcome again on stage the Maria 01 Chief Networks Officer, Jessica Bleckenberg. Thank you.
All right. And as Ville mentioned, Maria 01, all about startups. In total, we have 180 startups at Maria 01. And today, you're going to be enjoying 10 showcases here, taking the stage. What's going to go down for the next hour or so? 10 startups will do a presentation for roughly 3 minutes. And then we also have a VC panelist here joining us on the front row, who will also be asking some of the questions to the founders taking the stage. And maybe before we get also the startups here joining, let's do a quick round with our investors who have joined here today. And I'm going to ask you, Riku, to kind of like take the lead and maybe first share a bit who you are, where you're coming from, and if you have any expectations of what's going to happen tonight.
All right, thanks Jessica. Great to be here again. Thanks a lot to the whole team for organizing this. Great to be here on place. So my name is Riku Seppälä. I'm one of the founders and general partners at Icebreaker. We're a 100 million fund investing in idea and pre-seed stages located here at Maria. And we really love it, getting a lot out of the community. Super happy to be here. And yeah, I'm expecting to see great pitches again. And I've heard you've done a training before, so hopes are very high.
Definitely. Thanks for the good words. Ekaterina.
Sure. Pleasure to be here and great to see so many of you here. So my name is Ekaterina Gianelli. I'm one of the partners of InVenture. We're a Nordic early stage fund. Currently investing from our third fund, 120 million euro, focusing on Nordic seed space.
Hi everyone, great to be here. I'm Paavo Räisänen from Maki VC. So 100 million euro seed stage fund investing in brand-driven and deep tech companies. across the enterprise and consumer spaces. And yeah, looking forward to learn something new. I always learn something from the entrepreneurs, so that's the main thing.
Hi everyone, I'm Petteri Koponen from Lifeline Ventures. I wasn't smart enough to bring my own fans here. Thanks. We also very early stage investors. We invest in angel stage and sometimes seed as well. Great to be here.
Well, thank you all for being here. But now let's get the show going, what we all been waiting for a while already. I'm gonna introduce the first startup taking the stage here today. We have Kaiza Warinen, CEO and founder of Positive Learning. Welcome on stage.
There is something wrong with education. When I was a special needs teacher, I realized the traditional way of teaching my students was not working. My students struggled from behavioral problems and problems in learning. Teachers were mainly focusing at their problems and weaknesses. This was not working, not for my students, not for myself. I noticed that my students were not failing. The school was. I wanted to do something differently. I started to use positive education in my own pedagogy. I noticed how this changed my life as a teacher and the life of my students. Happy children learn best. Well-being and learning go hand in hand. My name is Kaiza Warinen. I'm the founder and CEO of Positive Learning. Our mission is to bring joy to classrooms and to help all school children to fulfill their true potential. I know how this works. I'm a researcher at the University of Helsinki, and we have great majority of teachers backing us up. We have the community there. With our tools, we help teachers to teach about social emotional skills and character strengths with ready-made lesson plans that are engaging and fun and scientific proven to work. We have award-winning solution, unique solution to see the strengths in all students. And with our solution, teachers are able to assess the development of the social emotional skills that are at the moment at the heart of education systems. We know that happiness brings more results in learning. With our tools, we have seen the growth in teachers' happiness and student well-being and better learning results. And this has been amazing. We have already 10,000 users with 30% monthly growth in users. We also have the app, which is called See the Good. And all of these things, all the features I showed are integrated in the See the Good app. With the app, we also help teachers to become positive teachers that can bring more joy and happiness to their classrooms. And teachers love it. You know, at the moment, you might think that how does this relate to my life? But come on, you are all colleagues. Perhaps you have children. You are leaders. You are part of society and communities. What would happen if you would download our app? With our app, we help you to see the good around you, to notice the strengths in your colleagues, in your family members, in your children. With our app, you're able to see the good, discover the strengths around you, and give positive feedback. Don't hold it back. You can see immediately how that impacts yourself and people around you. Thank you so much.
Let's take questions from the judges.
Okay, thanks, Kaiza. Maybe I start from here. How do you get, what's your kind of go-to-market strategy, or how do you get users for the app?
Thank you, excellent question. So our go-to-market strategy is extremely powerful because we have a mission that resonates with teachers. So we have tens of thousands of teacher community already in place, loving the product and the mission, wanting to scale it up, and they are owning the product and they're making it theirs. So we are at the moment scaling, and the go-to-market strategy is there through teachers' heart. So we grow through grassroots.
Could you tell a couple of concrete examples, like how you're doing this? So how to make people feel happier and some takeaways maybe for the audience as well.
Yeah, so with the app, we have 3 stages when you download it. First, there's strengths mindset. So you learn how to discover positive actions around you. You can see more good actions. And the next step would be strengths language. The app provides you language in which you can see and pronounce and give the feedback that really enhances the well-being of the students or your colleagues. And the last step would be strengths documentation. With the app, you can document through pictures, written narratives, or through videos, the things around you that are going well.
Thank you for sharing your story, Kaiza. I'm going to be the boring investor and ask you about the business model.
Yeah. So the business model is that we've sold in Finland to over 100 schools. The business model is 99 euros per teacher per year. And we've sold and we've proven that this price point is working. So that's the business model. So we sell both B2B and through teachers' hearts. So through teacher, they want to use the app, they like it, and then they want to use it more. So they go to the principal and they say that, hey, let's buy the app. So that's the business model. So both through grassroots levels and B2B sales.
All right. What type of a team have you built so far? So who's in on the journey?
Yes, we have exceptional senior team. So we have 5 teachers, pedagogists that have been working in schools. And then we have senior team. We have 5 in-house developers. And then we have also people that had made a great journey in terms of startups, for example. So we have like specialists in startup and in product building, pedagogies, and then we have developers. And one great designer, by the way, the slides were made by him.
Great. Thank you, Kaiza. How was it taking the first one to be on stage today?
I love it.
You did a really good job.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Let's give a big round of applause to Kaiza. All right, next taking the stage, we have Andri Kivimacki, the CEO and founder of AISpotter. Welcome.
Hello all. Now I want to think back to your last Google search. Out of massive amount of information, Google gave you just what you were looking for and relevant for you. At AISpotter, we do the same for videos. Out of hours and hours footage, just in 5 seconds, we return you the content that you are looking for and meaningful for you. The business where these are used in sport and media. Let me give you an example. Last summer we had Euro 2020 football championships and we worked with YLE. And 2 hours video, just in 5 seconds, we delivered to YLE Arena platform all goals from the matches. So this saves production time and money. So AISpotter makes possible pinpoint the highlight from any camera with any setup instantly and from multiple sources all at the same time. We are the ones in the market who can take any video, live or pre-recorded video, to make highlights and video clips fast. This saves production times 80%. The video analytics markets are booming in the coming years, over 20%. And video analytics markets are expected to be 15 billion in 2028. And the markets are growing because we have better networks, devices, and we users, we want to have highlights. We don't necessarily have to watch 2 hours videos. And in sport analysis and sport streaming market, we have customers like YLE and SoccerWatch from Germany. And in the future, we have opportunity to move also to entertainment and security business. And our business model is based on SaaS, and we charge from our customers setup fee and monthly costs. And in our unique team, we have expertise of and passion for sports and computer vision. And with the skills of business development and AI, we expect that we can take video highlight production to the new level. And to take our AISpotter to the next level, we are looking for funding for €500,000. And with this funding, we are using for sales and develop marketing and video highlight services. So we do the same what Google did. So stop wasting your time missing what is important. Start being able to use massive amount of information and make better decisions. And I'm Andri, CEO and founder of AISpotter. Thank you, and now I'm open for questions.
Thanks a lot. Could you tell us a bit more about like that sport analytics market? Like which part there are you kind of targeting, and what's the biggest need there?
In sport analytics markets, we are focusing on video analytics, and especially we create highlights and clips from 2 hours video archives. That's where we are heading. Yeah. And we are focusing on football at this moment.
Maybe to continue on the same topic, what is the competition there today, and what are all the bigger players doing?
Yes, there is a competition. How we differentiate with the competitors are that most of our competitors are using manual work to create these highlights, and or they combine video with the data to create these highlights. But we are the only one who can make this analysis automatically based on images and videos. And also how we differentiate with the competitors is that most of our competitors, they have their own platform via they can produce the highlights, but our strategy is that we integrate customer infrastructure. So that saves also customer money and time and pain.
And if I can ask one more, how are you taking it to market?
We are taking to market that we have now sales, where we B2B sales, where we're pushing.
As in direct sales? Or?
Direct sales, yes, mostly, yeah.
So what are your main targets for the next year? What do you want to achieve?
We want to more sales. So we want to make 4 times more sales than what we are doing now. So end of this year, we expect to have at least 50,000 MRR.
And what's the technology behind this? Like, what are you specialized in?
Technology behind is computer vision, neural networks, what we are doing, what we are using to deliver this service for our customers.
Okay, that's from University of Oulu, or?
Yes, that's where we have, before we started AISpotter, we have a demonstration project under the University of Oulu Machine Vision Department.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Andri. Starting off the showcase with education and video analytics, next we go into energy, and I'm going to ask on stage CEO and founder of Greenele, Lavan Koshnov. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Lavan, CEO of Greenele. Our company is specialized in electric vehicle charging solutions. During the past 3 years, I have personally installed over 1,000 charging points and surveyed over 200 housing companies, and business is booming. There are 2 main ways to charge an EV, and our customers are always initially interested in Type 2 solutions. But by simply being too powerful and complex, they choose the Shuko solution. But the technology of Shuko is limited and the standards do not support it. In fact, over 95% of all charging points sold by us are Shuko. That is why we have developed our own charging station and service. What we have done is we have taken the technology of Type 2 and combined it with the low power output of Shuko, 3.7 kilowatts, thus giving us a low powered Type 2 charging station. Even with 3.7 kilowatts, it's still enough for the average person, as you get over 200 kilometers of range during overnight charging. The station itself has been designed to perfection, and it can directly replace a normal car heating station into the existing infrastructure. This concept of 3.7 kilowatts has not been realized by the competition. They are more focused on high-powered charging station, which is a big mistake for several reasons. The benefits of 3.7 kilowatts are many, but the main one being that it's just a fraction of the cost, not just limited to the station, but also installations. As for the business model, we sell the charging station. It works on its own, but it's not connected to the internet. Each user has an option to subscribe to our charging service. The charging service includes authentication, metering, and billing, and you can unsubscribe at any time. Our data shows that once the user has subscribed, they will stay subscribed. Team, team, and team. Team is everything, and ours consists of highly talented individuals. All new cars sold in Europe will be electric by 2035, and we are aiming for a revenue of 180 million euros by 2030. Our first round is open, and we are seeking 200,000 euros, and we are inviting you to join us in the EV revolution. My name is Lavan, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. What does it take to convert these heating stations to charging stations?
The station and 2 hours of work. That's it.
And you probably need like an electrician to,
Yes.
Yeah. And how do you do it at the moment? Do you have partners or?
Well, at the moment, the nominal business is that we are installing, like other manufacturers, charging stations. But we are aiming to bring our own devices early next year.
Okay.
And at the beginning, of course, we will install them ourselves.
Yeah, maybe if you can still continue on that. So early next year, the new own version is ready. Okay. So is there some future steps? Like, what are you planning to do after that in terms of product development?
Yeah. So our concept, we want to strictly limit it to 3.7 kilowatts. But after that, of course, there's a lot of development of the current station and software, because we want to be mainly a software company. But after that, we will continue, for example, developing V2G charging station, when you can put energy back into the grid, for example.
Thank you. What are the biggest bottlenecks for you to scale this business?
Well, I would say, at this point, I would say it's the capital, because we have the...
Anything else than the capital?
Not really, because we already have a customer base, we have the knowledge, we have all the information we need. Now we just need the capital to develop the industrial level charging station.
But what is it that worries you most? As in, if the capital was there, what are the other risks you see?
Well, let me think for a moment. So in practice, it's actually only the development of the casing. It will be done by plastic molding, and if we can be successful on that, in my mind, everything else is easy.
Is there something specific to you, kind of the technology you developed or something that sets you apart from potential competitors?
Yeah, well, the uniqueness is that we want to target this niche market of 3.7 kilowatts. So the competition, they are developing all kinds of charging stations, from Shuko to low power to high power. But we want to stay strictly on the Type 2 and 3.7 kilowatts and make it a concept. That is the future, and there is many reasons for that.
Why? Why is it like that?
Well, for example, all of the normal sockets, they are designed for this 3.7 kilowatts. So even a normal socket can be replaced by our charging station. But with high-powered charging station, there comes a lot of problems. For example, the pricing, and it doesn't fit into the existing infrastructure. And if there were a lot of three-phase charging station, the national infrastructure wouldn't be able to handle it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Lavan. Continuing with energy, next taking the stage, we have Madis Oyama, CEO of Themo. Welcome.
Hello everybody. Hi, I'm Madis, the founder of Themo. Now, we founded our company because, as we all know, unfortunately, the globe is warming up. Our beautiful Nordic winters are soon fading away. However, we believe in a sustainable future, and part of that sustainability has to be that our electrical heating systems are carbon neutral, because in the world there are more than 500 million electrical heating systems. They consume about 15% of the world's total electricity production, which means they produce about 2 billion tons of CO2 emissions every year. We are on a mission to make electrical heaters carbon neutral. How we can do that? Well, it's with two key technologies. First, we must use intelligent algorithms to reduce the energy consumption of electrical heaters. Second, we must connect electrical heaters to smart grids so that electric utility companies can use thousands of heaters to store renewable energy and with which to balance the electricity grid in a carbon neutral way. However, since today we are a small team and we cannot be everywhere at once, we are focusing on the rental apartment industry, because usually in the rental apartments you have electrical floor heating in the bathrooms, and those heaters are on 24/7 because the tenants living in there, they set very high temperatures. Furthermore, it's usually the rental company that is paying the electricity bill, and they have no understanding what is going on in their apartments, and therefore about 50% of energy is being wasted. That is why we built Themo Energy Saving Service. It is a service that saves that energy for our customers. We do it by first installing our smart Themo thermostats to every electrical floor heater in our clients' bathrooms. Then we schedule those heaters so that the floors are only warm during the times when actually the floors are being used. Then we use machine learning, weather forecast, real-time electricity prices, very hot topic at the moment, and also demand response signals to make sure that our customers consume as little energy as possible during the cheapest time hours as possible. For example, a student dormitory in Finland used to pay 100,000 euros every year in their electrical heating bill. Today, with our technology, we are saving them 52% from there. Furthermore, we have reduced their carbon footprint more than 100,000 kilograms of CO2 emissions each year. So today, we have more than 3,000 of such electrical floor heaters connected with our cloud, and we are growing rapidly. And I am here because we are raising a capital investment of 2 million euros. So I am happy to network with everyone who wants to help us make the world a greener place. Thank you very much.
All right. Are you already doing something more than saving the heating for these individual rentals?
Yes. Do you mean like market-wise? Yes. Well, first, what we do is we save money for those rental apartment companies from their electrical heating costs. However, what we wish to develop as well is bring those electrical floor heaters to these electric utility companies so that they can use them to balance the grid in a carbon neutral way. And this we have already piloted in Estonia, so it's a working technology, but we are not actively providing this to the utility companies already today.
And is this going to work worldwide, or?
Yes, the good bad thing with electricity is the laws of physics of electricity are the same everywhere. Basically, the problem is every time you consume energy, you need to produce exactly the same amount, and more renewable electricity that is being brought into the electricity grid, the more you need this kind of balancing service to make sure that it's always balanced. And the same problem, it's worldwide. It's a huge market. About 73 billion euros every year is put to maintaining this balance worldwide.
Thank you, Mari. So who do you sell to today?
Today, we are selling to rental apartment companies. For example, one of our bigger new customers is City of Helsinki. So they have lots of rental apartments in their buildings. Not all of them have electrical floor heater, but those that do, we sell this solution to them as we help them save money.
So how does the typical deal look like for you?
Basically, what we do first is we contact them, either our own sales team, or we have partnered with a utility company in Finland who also contacts their customers. And we offer them a free pilot where we show within 2 weeks how much actually those products save them money. Then if they like us, they make the deal, we start to offer them the service that we go there, we install all the thermostats. If necessary, we build up a Wi-Fi or GSM network, and then we provide the service reducing their energy consumption.
And what's the average deal size? Just for me also to understand if it makes sense in terms of scalability of sales.
Yeah, so for example, this student dormitory, as I told you, they are saving about 54,000 euros a year, and we are roughly, our service fee is half of that. So we roughly earn about 25,000 euros from that customer side, but we have minimum 5-year contracts. So that's quite significant contract value for us.
Who are your main competitors and what sets you apart from them?
Very good question. I always like regards competitors. It's like, oh no, somebody might save the world faster than we do. But never mind. It's a good question because today I feel very strong with this, that in this niche market that we are operating, rental apartment buildings, your only solution is to go into the hardware store and buy this big brand, the in-store thermostat or Devi thermostat, the simple thermostat. If you want to now buy a smart thermostat, then yes, you can do it, but there's nobody in your company. If you have 600 apartments, who goes there, who programs all of them and makes sure that they are programmed in 1 day, 10 days, 10 years time, nobody's doing. What we are offering is a service. We come, we make care of everything. The customer doesn't have to worry, doesn't have to do anything. We maintain that every day those floors are as optimal as possible. And in the electrical floor heating market, nobody else is offering this today. It's being done, yes, in central heating, for example, but this is totally untouched market.
Okay, it seems that I have very small tactical questions, but I'm also thinking about the installation, like how hard it is and what does it take.
Yes, I have this Themo thermostat with me here as well, and basically it's a regular thermostat. You take out your old thermostat, 6 wires connected back to the old socket of the old thermostat, and takes an electrician about 5 minutes per one unit.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thank you very much.
Moving on then from energy, going a bit into the construction world, we have on stage Jussi Virinala, CEO and founder of Metroc. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Jussi and I'm founder of Metroc. And 12 months ago, I had my first meeting with our angel investor, and his first question was that why there are 2 young boys working in a very boring industry? And I was like, why not that there are so many troubles in the industry we need to fix there? So let's take a deep dive to the problem there. And the very root cause there is that the construction is the last industry of using digital tools. And this causes many issues there, especially on the financial side. So for example, a very sad example is that 20% of all the bankruptcies in general are coming from this industry. And there are lots of traditional ways to make customer acquisition or design projects or manage projects and so on. But we have a solution for this, and we can help companies to make a better business. So at Metroc, we have built a platform, and at first we collect data, raw data from thousands of open data sources, and then we combine the data with our machine learning model together. And then we can provide best information of everything in built environment. This means buildings, construction projects, companies and their portfolios, and tenders. And with this platform, our customers can find new customers and then also integrate our data to their systems. And the company is founded 2 years ago, and I'm happy to say that in 2 years we have gathered over 200 enterprise customers, which means 60,000 euro in monthly recurring revenue. And we operate with the B2B SaaS business model with yearly agreements, with yearly payments. And we will do the expansions country per country because we need to localize our data set to each market. And people is behind everything. So I'm leading sales teams, and my co-founder Janne is leading software team. And there in the picture you can see that all team members, 13 professionals in total, and now together we will look for a round of 2 million euro in the second quarter of next year. And we will use this A round for developing our product and expanding to other Nordic countries. Thank you for listening to me, and I'm really happy to answer all of your questions.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Who are your customers, like, and how does the sales process go typically?
Yes, so we practice a direct outbound sales, and we have a small and medium customers are the main customers for us. But we also have, like, for example, 5 publicly listed companies as a customer in Finland, and they are contractors, builders, engineering companies, maintenance companies, and all kinds of in the construction field.
And what do they get? Like, what's the typical, what's your service for them? Like, compared to the state of the art, without you, what do you provide?
Maybe the most common practice is to get sales leads. Where are upcoming projects in the field?
Yeah, could you elaborate a bit more on the data side, like really concretely, like, okay, what type of insights and data are you providing?
Yeah, for sure. So, like, utilizing open data, there's nothing new, but we are the only team who also understands construction. So we understand data and construction, and then we can combine the data together. For example, the data is news articles, and then press releases, company websites, and public registers, public tenders, and so on.
So maybe on the expansion side, if you can tell us a little bit more of what needs to be done to open up in a new country.
Yeah, so a month ago, we started developing MSP version to Sweden. So our estimation is that it takes max like 2 months to build the product, because we just have to gather the data there and understand the data. And then, of course, like build the local sales organization there.
And is it typically direct sales for you as well?
Yes, yes.
Okay, you already have these public companies, so it feels like the deal size, even for these very big companies, is still quite small. So how do you plan to expand that?
Yeah, like we had decided to postponing big fish companies, we call them, but we have some of them as a customer because they've been coming as inbound. But deal size at the moment is like 5,000 per year.
And what does this kind of become in the future? Do you have a bigger play than providing like sales leads to these companies?
We will focus on gathering all the data and all the information within this field. It means real estates, buildings, properties, and companies, and all the construction projects.
Yeah, I think Riku's question was pretty good, since, you know, like one project for them can be tens of millions. So
exactly,
you should be able to extract more value in the future.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jussi.
Thank you.
Oh, we're already 5 startups down and have 5 startups more to go. Let's give a big round of applause to the ones who pitched and the ones who are still coming up. And also to the great questions for the panelists. Thank you. Great energy here on site, and also I hope online you're engaging in the chats and having a good time. Moving on, next we have Amanda Raystrom, CEO and founder of Spark Sustainability. Welcome, Amanda.
Hi everyone, my name's Amanda, it's nice to meet you all. Just before you got here, and probably continuing right now on your phones, you're being bombarded with messages about how you can help stop climate change just by choosing the right product. Most of it is fake news. 40% of green claims on European websites lack evidence. This is a big problem, because most of emissions globally come from household consumption. This is also, however, a huge opportunity, because there are firms out there that can help us mitigate emissions. There's so much uncertainty here for the consumer, and as a former researcher, this problem drives me mad. Spark Sustainability's data model calculates emissions savings potential. What that means is we put the focus on the sectors that are undeniably better. So we don't compare two sweaters and say which has a 10% lower carbon footprint, but instead we shift consumers' behavior to circular models, such as clothes rental, or second-hand. Our customers are firms within the circular economy, the sharing economy, clean energy and mobility, and plant-based foods. All of these sectors are growing at record speeds right now. Emission savings potential can be shown directly on our customer's website, and it's also shown in our app, the Carbon Donut. Carbon Donut gives consumers tips on how to mitigate their emissions and shows them which services or products can help them in doing so. So we have two revenue streams on the B2B side. That's emission calculation to show that, for the customer to show in their website, and affiliate marketing through the app. On the B2C side, we're launching in-app products next year. Our founders are experts in emission calculations. Our advisors have extensive sustainability knowledge, as well as product strategy. We converted 75% of our pilot customers to paying customers in the app. Before the app was up and running, we did consultancy service, or we calculated emissions for companies as a consultancy service. We also have quite a few interesting ongoing discussions at the moment. Our serviceable obtainable market, both on the B2B side and the B2C side, are projected to double within the next 5 years. Here's a look at the B2B side, which is digital marketing spending for firms within our scope within the next 5 years. We are raising a seed round, and we would love for you to join our journey. Thank you.
Thank you. Really exciting. So what's kind of the focus? What will make you win? On which side is that? Like, what drives the success?
I'm glad you asked. That's data and integrity. So we want to be really, really data-driven here and stop the greenwashing, because there's so many marketing messages that are about we have the more green product, and we want to really bring the focus to, can we calculate that, yes or no?
Okay, and giving that to, okay, so you show the data to the customers. Is there a way to make it really sticky then for the, like on the B2C side? Like what keeps someone, if they learn a lot, is there something that keeps them on the app longer?
So that's basically what we've been working on all year, and the work probably continues forever, right? But the things we found this year is that, in fact, introducing a learning feature in the app, so that it's not just logging actions, but also you can go there and browse and learn more. So there are these tidbits of information, like how much emissions come from an avocado or whatever. Those tend to inspire people, but we can talk more about that afterwards.
All right, thank you.
Maybe if you can tell me a little bit more about the B2B side, actually. What do they pay you for, and how much do they pay you?
So they pay us for two things. First, calculating emissions, and with this number they can do, well, I was going to say what they like, probably not what they like, but they can showcase it to their customers, and then there's the affiliate. Could you
maybe explain, actually, or show it was one of the cases, or one of the companies you're working with?
Sorry, no.
As in, if you can tell us more about one of the companies you're working with, take Alvar Pets or whatever, how does it work for them?
So for Alvar Pet, for instance, we calculate how much emissions you save. Alvar Pet sells food for dogs that is more climate smart. So how much emissions you can save on their food instead of the normal food. And then we give them space in the app. And then they pay us a monthly fee for being on the app. Now we have a number of different customers on the app. The the average price right now across all of the companies is 131 euros. And next year, I mean, these are pilot prices. There's just 12,000 users in the app. So next year, we're going to scale that up.
Okay, and then maybe the question on the users in the app, how do you get it to 1 million or 10 million?
By tweaking that stickiness as we were in on. And also, there's a lot here about making the user feel like they want to share that with their friends. Like, I learned this today, and hey, I want to show you this fact from the app, and sort of get that good feeling about knowing, being in the know, because there's so much uncertainty in this field.
Yeah, could you tell a bit more about the customer onboarding and this calculation method, or have you been able to automate it? Like, if you have like a totally new customers from new industries, so how does it work? Are you doing like a project-based first, or are you somehow automating it?
So currently, it's not automated yet. What we're seeing is as we go along and take sort of more customers in the same segment, so for instance, second-hand clothing, we are able obviously to do that a lot faster. But whenever opening up a new segment, then there's a lot of deliberation and manual work and just research to be done. But so the goal for next year is to really focus on a few sectors and then focus on what you're asking about, actually the automation to make that, to tweak that process so that it doesn't take so much time for us. Great question.
Yeah, my question is probably related to Paavo's question. So if you would, for example, launch in the US, and you would need to do it soon, like how would you do it? Since you have the consulting element there, what's the plan?
I have a lot to say about how the US and the European markets are very different in this field on like behavioral science and emissions, but we can talk about that later. But theoretically, if I were to do that, I would start with a handful of, let's say, 10 companies, and I would also start very strongly on the marketing side for consumers, so targeting a few, say, influencers or having a few large marketing campaigns there. Because what we really see is the network effect. It's sort of a market network. What we want is for our customers, the B2B customers, to be proud that they have this number and that they're on the app. And then they tell their customers, but then to sort of speed that up, we need a lot of consumers who heard about it and are like, oh yeah, I heard about that somewhere, and then they start talking about it. So then it becomes sort of a spin wheel.
Would you need a local team in all the target countries?
For the US, I would say yes. For Sweden, where we have a pilot project already, no.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Amanda. Great. Talking about sustainability, B2B, moving on to B2C. Next, taking the stage, we have Themo, CEO of Emmy Clothing Company. Welcome.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. What you are wearing is destroying the world. Do you know, by the way, what is the biggest product in the global fashion industry? It is not actually this 4-euro t-shirt. It's a CO2. This industry generates more than 10% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. At the same time, we know that 60 to 70% of the clothing in your closets, and in your closets are without any use. So there's a huge balance of the unused clothing in the world, worth of billions per country. Think about the world where fashion is circular and operates by the principles of circular economy. How much more sustainable consumption model we would have, and how much more good quality clothing we would all have. So there's an era of fashion transformation going on at a very, very fast pace. But there is one big challenge, is that buying and selling used clothing is difficult. That comes with a lot of time, effort, and friction. That is why Emmy Clothing Company is here. We want to make this as easy as possible. And that is how we have grown, and we are now the biggest player in this field in Finland and Estonia. This is how it works. If you have a clothing in your closets that you don't need, you just put them to the back and you send them to us, or we will pick it up from your doorstep. Or you can put them to the Emmy boxes all around the country. It is that easy. Customers love this service. And we would like to scale this up, and I will show you how. First of all, in every marketplace business, it's all about supply. If you can solve the supply, you will win the game. We have seen this in each and every category in circular economy so far. We have already the best possible inbound channels in Finland and Estonia, and we are ready to scale that up. Second of all, buying second-hand should be more attractive than buying first-hand. We have already 10,000 brands, amazing brands. We have 80,000 unique items in our store, and customer retention is 80%. 80. That's a high number in e-commerce and marketplaces business. And third point is data. When we know who is buying, who is selling, what they are selling and buying and when, that creates a unique competitive advantage in our market. That is also enabling us to connect with the best brands and best possible and forward-looking retailers in the world. It's time for fashion revolution. If you want to invest in marketplaces business, it's good to note that this market will double in 3 years. And this will be 2 times bigger by the end of 2030. I have to mention there has been discussion about Volt, for example. Volt's market annually is 100 billion euro. This market will be 90 billion euro in 2030. Thank you for your time. He said that he didn't figure out any question. I had to translate.
Yeah, well, no, I can start. But I think the market or the timing is a no-brainer for you, right? So can you tell us more about the team? Why is it you?
Yeah, of course, in marketplace business, there is always a very big competitive advantage of a first mover. Take a look at Nettiauto in Finland, for example.
Let's not talk about Finland. We're talking, I guess you're not addressing Finland only, right? So why is it you on a global level?
Yeah, true that. So that means that this kind of fusion of technology and service, once you start it, you have first mover advantage. When you are connecting the best brands, best retailers, and this consumer inventory to the same place, there happens this kind of marketplace wheel, which means that that customers actually recognize that there's a best possible portfolio and selection of consumer offering, selection of B2B offering, and selection of sample sales, for example. And that is the way you can go from country to another.
And why is it your team to make it happen? If you can tell us more about the team as well.
Yes, we have of course we have our own technology. This curation technology that we have in place is developed by ourselves. This is creating a very good foundation for us to grow. And this is something we can leverage from a country to another. We also have the best brands already connected to this platform, and we can also leverage those when we are internationalizing the company.
And who are you? As in, who are you in the team?
I'm a CEO of Emmy clothing company.
What about the rest of the team?
Rest of the team is sitting just behind you. Since there is a CTO, CFO, chairman of the board, and a CMO, so we have a supply chain director is missing.
Does it get like complicated with the returns and stuff? How do you think about that to make it efficient?
Yeah, there's always question of returns in new items when companies are selling them in e-commerce. Of course, they could be also almost like 50%. In our case, it's like 20%. That can be also solved by technology. There are more and less liquid items, and when we are collecting the data of those items, we can also say to the sellers that send this stuff, don't sell this stuff. So that helps. So data is one big solution when we are scaling up this business.
Yeah, I'm interested about the operations. So could you tell a bit more about what have you done exceptionally well in terms of like the logistics and the warehousing and those things? Like what has been the big problem that you've been able to solve during this time that you've been building the business?
There has been many big problems. In marketplace business, I think that it's about the devils in the details. It is always like a system. When you have a curation technology, you have operations that are supporting that. So there are a lot of different kind of details we have to solve. We can go back to the details if you're interested in investing.
Tell us some example, like what has been like really the key innovation that you have done in the operations.
For example, in curation process, we know that there are certain kind of triggers that are actually triggering people to buy secondhand, and we need extra good curation process for that kind of things. And that is what we are learning only when we are taking a look at the data, and there are this kind of issues.
Yeah, great. I got a bit puzzled because you just threw away that T-shirt as opposed to selling it. But yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. Like I wonder what's the. We have these used stuff marketplaces like Swappy and Metroc, of course. So it's I kind of think that I know what to do here, but what's the tech team like that you have? Like, what's the software that you're building here? I think it's the key. How do you automate this? How big is the team now?
Maybe someone knows exactly. It varies because, of course, we are also outsourcing some part of that team. So roughly 10 people there are at the moment doing this. When it comes to this question that you know it very well, there is this in marketplaces business and in circular economy, it has been based on DIY business, consumers selling to each other. Now we can see this shift to the full service providers like Swappy, like Metroc, now Emmy. So there's a huge wave, which is like the next generation. This is based on the AI-driven technologies that we are developing in the next phase.
Yeah, I fully agree because you're getting not just the early adopters, but the mainstream consumers, and they kind of want better service and easier experience, and they are not willing to struggle that much. So I think this end-to-end model is the winner as well.
I agree. In Finland, 25,000 people have already sold in Emmy, and that's relatively small number if you compare to the full market potential. Penetration is low still.
Last question. Could you also give us a flavor for the unit economics? Unit economics. So if you can give us a flavor for the average basket sizes or acquisition costs.
Yes, the average basket price when someone is buying something from Emmy is 81 euros at the moment, and average sales price of the item is a little bit more than 21 euros.
Thank you, Timo.
Thank you very
Good
much.
Job. Pay it forward. Give the shirt forward. Great. 3 more startups to go. We're going to be focusing on like health, medtech, and pharma. So let's get the first one on stage. We have Maria Hanel from Disior. Welcome.
Hi everyone. I'm going to read my 3 minutes right from the start and say how cool it is to be here with all of you people present. So thank you, dear Marians, to organize this thing. So I'm Maria Hanel from Disior. Disior is a medtech company. We do software for clinical setup. We are just turned 5 years old and we are around 25 people in the team. In the beginning, before the company was formed, we had a dream that we as engineers could do something so powerful to the clinical workflow that our work would be valued as much as the clinicians' work there today. So we created software that eats in patient medical imaging data and it turns those 2D fuzzy grayscale images into data, so facts and figures and numbers that the surgeons, radiologists can use in the diagnostics, so fact-based diagnostics made fast in the setup. And then when they had made up their mind, okay, I will make this kind of procedure to this person, the software creates these 3D representations of those tissues in question, and you can make your surgical plan, you can estimate the output, how will this work with this patient in question. So we bring in efficiency, preciseness, accuracy, and most important of all, we bring better treatments for our patients. We also had another dream when we started the thing to be the best of the best in the world, and that's a tough call. And in order to get there, you need to work with the best people all over the world to validate your thing and to kind of figure out what the thing actually needs to be doing. So out of this setup, we get around 200 licenses today out there all over the world with the best of the clinics. We had 18 scientific papers published validating that we actually are doing good stuff. And most important of everything, we got the best friends out of these clinics. So I have my beautiful surgeon friends in all over my WhatsApp. And we do exactly what we wanted in the beginning. So get better treatments to all the patients. What we do next? The tech behind this thing is unique, it's ours. And the point is that it's scalable throughout your whole body, from the head to the toe. And that's differentiating us from the others. So what we do next, geographical expansion, US is our main target today, and then we do more anatomies, more functions to the softwares that we do. And I refer as last to my conversations with one of my dearest friends in the US as a surgeon. He said to me that, Maria, we worked so hard for all these years, trying to push the train and pull the train and make everybody believe in us, because there were not too many believing us in the beginning. And now the train is moving, everybody wants to hop on the train. So wish you more than welcome to join it as well. Thank you. Beloved questions.
Thank you for the presentation. So what are the biggest bottlenecks to scaling today?
The biggest thing today, more or less, maybe I think the regulatory slowness, because every time you introduce an anatomy, you need to regulate it all over again with all those indications. Also, 2D, 3D, data points versus the handcraft thing that the surgeons have today. There is an adoption thing as well. But the whole industry is moving to that direction, so I don't think that's a problem. It's just a bit slow again now.
So how are the doctors using it today in their workflow? I mean, is it in use, or how do you foresee them using it in their workflow?
Yeah, so it is in use, so it's clinically approved. In the US, we have the FDA, we have the CE marks. The more or less flow goes like patient comes in, you take the image, the software is taking the image in, you get the analysis, we get all these kind of data points, indications. The surgeon looks at it, the radiology looks at it, ooh, this is off the normal, this is like this, okay, we have these facts, what do we do? And we introduce just the planning module, so then they take the patient's 3Ds, they make the planning, I cut here, I move this, and take this away, how would it look? And then we also make surgical guides, so they can put the data actually in action in the operating room. And then they cut it, and then they do procedure, and then they can take a post-op image to see with the same parameters again, but how well did we do, how efficient was the treatment. So this is how it works today.
And what's unique in the tech?
It's a secret thing. It's a great What's unique? It is something that's originally created for something totally different. It is the only thing I've said. All the others use the AI, neural network, machine learning, blah blah blah, to try to figure out where the tissues are. Is this anatomy like this, and where's the problem? We approach it as a mathematical problem, and the image analysis not using the AI, it's just checking for the boundaries of the tissues and creating the things in there. And the thing there is that it's much more vastly scalable to any organ. It doesn't care if you're healthy, if you're sick, if you're normal, if you're black, if you're white, because it just looks what's in the image. So that's kind of the differentiating factor.
Maybe on the sales still, so how many clinics are you live with today?
There's around 200 licensing. I don't have the exact number of clinics. Some clinics have smaller amounts, and some clinics have larger amounts.
And are you now trying to expand the number of clinics or grow within these clinics?
We go both ways, so we get more clinics in, and we also expand in the clinics. So usually when they used it for the first year, they now see that I get 5 times my licenses because they see effectiveness of that. So both ways.
And is the competition already tough for you?
There's tons and millions of competitors outside. There are the big companies, all the millions of startups. So there is competition, but we have some of those functions that the others don't have. So that way we have the advantage in the space.
So tell us a bit more about the typical problems that doctors can prevent by using the Disior software? What can happen to me if the doctor is not using the Disior when doing
you can not get a surgery, you can get an unnecessary surgery, you can get something you need to go back to fix it. So it's kind of giving the precision and the facts which are not dependent on the person who's looking at your image on that day. So it's kind of objective thing.
What about what would you estimate the total market size to be? Like since we've done quite a few, like 20 medtech investments, and that's usually the biggest problem. Like the initial huge market turns out to be much smaller than what we thought, and probably what the entrepreneurs thought. So what's your estimate at the moment?
Yeah. So actually you need to approach the market in a clever way. So we started with the diagnostic market. So we give the diagnostic information. It's not that big, or it can be, but it depends on wherever you are in the body. But we go there. That's one market. And then there's the OR market, so the hardware that people sell to fix the plates and the screws and all that. That's another market, and that's also where we go. You have the navigation, the robotics market, that's where we fit as well. So you need to fit pretty many, and you need to approach it in a clever way to actually make the big market.
But what do you say? I mean, if it's the software market for this?
I don't have an absolute figure for you for that.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Great. Thank you, Anna Maria. All right, still a couple of startups to go, and next we'll have on stage Panu Engelvuori, COO and co-founder of Causalus. Welcome.
Medication side effects cause 12 million hospitalizations and casualties each year. In fact, your loved ones might be in danger as well. The current methods for preventing this are slow and expensive. Our service optimizes medications, ensuring that nobody has to suffer from medication side effects ever again. Today, medications are adjusted with a method called medication review. It takes doctors or specialized pharmacists around 5 hours to complete. Causalus is the first company reinventing and digitizing this process with our CE-marked medical-grade software and our remote clinic service. Currently, we have over 300 care home patients in our platform, B2B platform. How does it work? First, we gather medication, symptom, and patient data in our software. Then we match it with the unique data model that we have been curating for years. Finally, we create a visualized heat map that displays all the relevant factors related to the medication. The heat map allows our remote pharmacist to analyze the data 10 times faster. It highlights potential problems and risks related to the medication. As a result of this analysis, we'll get a medication change plan, which basically aims to minimize medication harms and maximize the benefits. Together with the patient, our remote doctors implement the change plan. We make only one medication change at a time. The patient's symptoms are recorded in our software, which allows us to monitor the impact of the medication change. This process of making a change and monitoring its impact is continued until we reach a status of balanced medication. On average, this takes around 6 months, depending on the complexity of the medication regimen. There are 90 million people taking 5 or more prescription medications simultaneously. Each new medication adds up the risk of an adverse drug event by 10%. So take action now before it's too late. We're launching a consumer service next year, and currently we're testing that for free with chosen customers. go to causalus.com/takeaction and sign yourself or a loved one up for the free pilots. I'm Panu Engelvuori from Causalus. Our team consists of top clinical experts and technologists. Our mission? To eradicate medication problems. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Where can you launch the consumer service? Like, can you launch globally, or would that also be regulated by FDA and other instances?
We have the consumer service that we have. It works with an app, and the app is actually a dashboard to our professional software, and the professional software is regulated. So the app itself it's not under regulation.
So you can launch it on app stores and...
Yeah, basically we can, yes, sure. But obviously, since we still have the remote pharmacist team, so we need to have sort of like localized teams. But one of the reasons that we're launching the consumer service is that it's actually easier for us to go to new markets with that instead of the B2B thing where you need to integrate to different patient information systems, and it's a hassle. It's much more straightforward with the consumer app.
Yeah, maybe if you can tell us still a bit more about the go-to-market and like the role of different players in this value chain, like how the pharmacists and doctors and maybe the pharma companies even how they kind of interact with your solution.
Okay. Yeah, basically, when we're talking about competition, for example, we're talking about pharmacies and freelance pharmacists and doctors. Currently, they're doing this with manual solutions, using Excel and using software that is specific to one part of the medication review, for example, checking medication interactions. So we're able to offer them a professional tool that brings the whole workflow and all the information into the same place. And then you mentioned pharma companies. Our business model currently, we have a subscription service for the medication review service, but obviously that's not in the end how we're going to make the big bucks. So pharma companies, especially regulation has tightened, and they are required to collect very detailed information about how their medications are performing at the market. So obviously it's about the side effects, the safety of the medication, and also about the efficacy of the medication. But when you look at the normal patient out there, the normal person, they have more than one diagnosis, they have more than one medication. So for the pharma companies, even though they get some information from there about how a specific drug might be working, it's a hassle since there's so much complexity in the data. So we can help make sense into that real world complex data and give it to the pharma companies.
So on the pharma side, how early is this market? As in, have you been able to sell anything at scale to pharma already?
Yeah, we've been talking to pharma companies, yes, but we haven't made a deal yet. But obviously, we believe that there's going to be lots of competition within the next 3 to 5 years in this area, since the regulation just tightened.
Do you think it's still a nice to have product for them, or is it already must have? As in, do they already know what to do with the data?
For the pharma companies.
Pharma companies.
Depends on their products. For example, if you think about biosimilar drugs, one of the problems that they don't get those to market is that they don't have enough information about how it works at the post-market phases. So those are one of the places where we can help them. So the thing is that we need to find the sweet spot with the pharma companies.
All right, thank you. So who is the consumer product for?
Yeah, so currently we're sort of like testing it with a larger audience, but obviously as we get more patients using it, we'll start targeting into specific therapeutic segments, such as like diabetes or asthma or whatever. It needs to be viable from the clinical side, but it also needs to be something that we can sort of like, they need to be early adopters in terms that makes our marketing and go-to-market easier. So it's a combination of clinical and go-to-market strategy.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Panu.
Thank you.
All right, and we have still one more startup company to go. Time is really flying when you're having a good of fun, I guess. So let's get on stage. Niklas Celiacus, CEO and co-founder of Oyama.
How are you today? I hope you're doing fine. You might not, because not all days are great days. Some days you just don't seem to get anything done, and at worst, you might even struggle to get out from bed. Other days can be fantastic. You know that feeling when everything just goes your way? You get a week's worth of work done, and everything just falls into place very easily. Now imagine if you could turn all of those bad days into good days. Well, that's not possible. However, a more useful question is, how can we live through those bad days? How could you, even when on a bad day, get through the day and actually make it work for you? Oyama is your behavioral change platform to support your mental well-being. What we want to do is transform your bad days into good days, or better ones, as we say, by transforming you. How we do that is, firstly, we give you immediate access to evidence-based mental health tools. In our app, the first thing we do is assess your situation, and you will go through on your own an assessment where you're guided to assess your emotional and mental well-being. After that, we personalize your experience. So starting from your own assessment, we're gonna give you the tools that you need in your situation by tailoring you a mental well-being program. The last thing we do is that we're giving you this program and guiding you every step on the way, helping you with these evidence-based exercises. And most importantly, what makes us different is that we are working evidence-based, and meanwhile we're a completely self-guided app. We're not another self-help meditation app. So what does that mean? That means that we are taking mobile exercises created by our chief psychologist, Jaana Mäntykoski, and we are creating a completely new interactive experience in your phone. So right now, we are inviting investors to join our fundraising round. At the same time, and maybe most importantly, we're signing up companies to give this solution, this service to their employees. Naturally, by helping employees be more well-being, improve their well-being, we reduce sick leaves, improve performance, increase delivery in organizations. So my name is Niklas Celiacus. I'm a second-time mental health founder. I've certainly had my fair share of bad days. I've lived through my emotional roller coasters, and I want to invite you to join us on our journey together with my team, my co-founders. Some of them are here, most of them are abroad, but to join us on our journey towards better days.
All right, thanks. Do you already have data or kind of like evidence from this app how it works for individuals?
For individuals, yes. So we actually started out with consumers late last year. We've had a significant amount of users using it. It's still early. We're now launching actually our program, and that's really the big thing. So we're really psyched about that, signing up our first customers to use it actually. So it's still early.
But have you seen good development, something like evidence from them, like anecdotal or data actually making like meaningful change for them?
Plenty, we can talk about that for sure. We've run several pilots, but it's still early for the program, of course, as it's completely new. It's nothing that we've really seen before. It's from a scientific point of view. It's a very specific intervention that is scientifically new, but most definitely I would perhaps like to say that on the actual user experience side, we've seen a lot of different apps which clearly don't work. There's a huge user retention problem, so I think this will be the most interesting to see the metrics on this. But what I can tell you is that companies are very interested in this solution naturally post-COVID, and we have a lot of interest. We just closed our first sales, and we just this week actually got our first proper offer accepted from a customer. So super happy
Great,
about that.
congratulations.
But maybe to still continue on Riku's question, so you mentioned you're not another wellness app or whatever, but what is it or what's different?
Yes, so like most of you, I think that's a long discussion for sure, so I will answer it like this. Most of you know, for a reason, you know maybe Headspace, you know maybe Calm. Some of you might know MeruHealth because you've invested in it, but most of you don't know any other products than Headspace or Calm. Well, meditation is great for anxiety, stress, sleep disorders. What we're doing is taking this whole field of thousands of exercises from psychotherapy, and we are creating different interventions for different people, for different profiles really. So that's what it is. It's the programs that you go through, and then we built a whole kind of platform around it with peer support groups and stuff like that, which was actually what we launched first.
All right, and then maybe on the user acquisition side, as you know, the space is super competitive with Headspace all the world pouring a lot of money into the user acquisition. So what can you do differently, or how can you acquire users?
Well, there's certainly many ways to do it differently. I think you don't need to be super innovative here, actually, because of course we don't really compete with Headspace. We believe that meditation has its own space, but the company might actually want to have Headspace and they want to have Oyama for other parts. We kind of come into the intersection of HR and the occupational health in Finland or health insurance in the US. So I think there's not really competition there, but the consumer space would of course be hugely interesting as well, where you can get very creative around how to get out there, and we've clearly created a pretty strong brand already. So I think that's a very interesting opportunity. But for companies, it's pretty straightforward.
How are you planning to use the seed funding? Like, what are the main use of proceeds, and like what to achieve with the money?
Yeah, so certainly still a lot will go into product development, so we can kind of really polish the app and the service. But large parts would actually go into marketing and sales for sure. So that's where we would need to hire actually. Other parts we have in the founding team already actually, which you have there.
Related to that, what's your key market in the future, let's say in next year?
In the next year, or actually in next 2 weeks, I will fly to London and focus on opening up the UK market. So currently we started out in London. I'm a Finnish and Swedish citizen, so we've kind of been bouncing, ping-ponging here between to get started. But now UK is really, I think, a super interesting market. Naturally, US would be as well, but I think there are a lot of good partners over there that we rather partner up with because it would be costly and difficult to enter. So.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Niklas. Oh, wow. What a show you gave to us. Thank you so much. Yeah, Maria 365 Startup Showcase. And as I mentioned in the beginning, the showcase was all about our startups. So I want to invite all of the founders to take the stage one more time, and we're going to give them a big round of applause again. So please join me on stage. Come up. Good. A lot of great people, bright minds on stage. And we have a couple of also gifts that we want to give to all of you. I have to say, you've all done an amazing work. We had some startup pitching coaching session prior to 365, so it's really also great to see how long you come. And yes, let's keep on giving the awards. Ville will give them out. And yeah, already? Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Kaiza. Thank you.
Kaiza Warinen, Positive Learning. Andre Kivimacki, AISpotter. There we had Jussi Virala, Metroc. Lavan from Greenele. Maris from Themo. Amanda from Spark Sustainability. Anna-Mari from Disior. Great. Still 3 left. Themo from Emmy Clothing Company. Panu from Causalus. There you go, flowers. And last but not least, Niklas from Oyama. Thank you all for giving us a good show. You're also raising more VC money, so I'm really sure you convinced a lot of us here in the audience, people online, investors, anybody are free obviously to reach out to you because money is also something that you obviously need now to get to the next level. And thank you for the great presentations. You did a really good job and we're all so proud of you. In addition to thank you, I also want to thank Aape Pohjavirta for the startup coaching. Really good job to kind of get the pitches to the next level and for us to have a really good show and a good time on stage. Did you have a good time? Yes. I could totally see that. And in addition to that, also of course our VC panelists here who've been asking some questions. Thank you so much for being here today. And also the whole Maria 01 team for making this production happen. I have to say we did a really good job and we're excited to bring some of these events back. So give a round to Maria 01 team. Great. And we're going to continue here. I want to also thank all the people online. I hope you had a really good time and we're going to see you next year on Maria 365. So long. Bye-bye.
We'll be right back.